Welcome to another Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, we're here in the Sports Performance Center. It's absolutely gorgeous. The track is done now. They just have the Corky Classic. They set multiple records. Matter of fact, Trey Culver was I can't remember the official name, but he was the national athlete of the week as far as the Track and Field Association. This football practice facility is just a heck of a recruiting tool and a training tool. So really appreciative of Texas Tech for letting us shoot this edition of the mailbag in here. But how are you doing, man?
Great, man. You know, I'll tell you another thing about this place is the weather in here is really, really good. It's about perfect. What can I tell you? Imagine that.
Absolutely. All right, we have some great questions for y'all, so we're going to get right into it. First one comes from DL Vet, who wants to know, he says, given that Texas Tech has beaten 2 opposing teams ranked at number 2 already, will they still need to get to 20 wins to get into the tournament?
I would not feel comfortable with less than 20, put it like that, because if they wound up with 19, I think that would mean that they go 4-10 over the last 14. You don't want to go like that into Selection Sunday.
Is that counting the Big 12 tournament too, like losing? Okay,
no, it's not. That's
like 4-11. I mean.
Yeah, and then you lose, right? Exactly. You lose that first game. So, no, I think you need 20 to be assured of a place, regardless of who they've beaten. You need to hit 20.
Yeah, I really expect them to be more like win 10 and lose 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong; they still have a really tough schedule, but I expect them to be around at least 22. I'd say 22 wins, because that'd be 7 from now. Not counting the result in Austin, which this will air after that game, but we're shooting it before. So I mean, yeah, they need to win 20. It will look really bad if that'd be a heck of a slide. All right, Raid Grad says, how much will Tech's recent basketball success, assuming they finish strong, impact recruiting this year and next? Also, of the 5 basketball positions, which one is most likely to entice a 4 to 5-star recruit in this offense, and with Beard at the helm? Well, I actually asked Coach Al Pinkins just the other night, on Monday night, I believe, if this success is already helping. He said they're already kind of, focused in on the guys that they have for this current class. But as far as the younger guys, he said, yeah, he has noticed that people, not just the players, the recruits, but also just people in general around the country have noticed what Texas Tech is doing. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, there's guys all over the country who honestly had probably never even heard of Texas Tech basketball. They may have heard the name somewhere down the line, but now they're on people's radar screen that wouldn't have been the case before. That's just naturally the way it works out. And then when you have a great recruiter like Beard with great recruiting assistants like Pinkins, then you're able to capitalize on something like that. So if this season goes out and continues the way it is right now, I would expect some huge things on the recruiting trail on down the line.
Absolutely. And as far as like what type of players or what positions benefit the most in the motion, honestly, it's the kind of wings. Like Zaire Smith, to be honest, is the kind of guy who's versatile, who can take a guy off a dribble and finish at the hole, but also who can knock down the open mid-range jumper, because motion offense, in theory, is going to give people open shots, open perimeter shots, or give them space to take guys one-on-one off the dribble. I know people a lot of times think that more of an ISO offense, but really, if you look at motion, if you really understand what motion does, it does put you in a position to take your guy one-on-one in good angles and good places. So a guy like Zaire Smith, in my opinion, that position, it's perfect for him.
Well, I mean, it's perfectly clear how he's building. Coach Beard is building the roster. You look at the guys. I mean, it seems like everybody's right around 6'5". I think he would be quite happy with a starting lineup where everybody was 6'6". As long as one guy was thick and could jump out of the gym and strong, could defend the post. Somebody like a Jerome Lane, if you remember him, University of Pittsburgh, best player ever to come out of Akron, not named LeBron James, but he was a 6'6", thick-set guy who could just do it all in the post. Broke a backboard too, by the way. But that's, I mean, if you have somebody like that and then 4 other 6'6" guys around him, I think Beard would be thrilled, and so would I, to be perfectly honest.
Juicebox wants us to predict the win-loss, the final win-loss for Tech in conference.
I'm going to go 14-4 overall. 14-4 in conference, not including the Big 12 tournament. I think they probably lose at West Virginia, but I mean, don't get me wrong. There's every game on the schedule they're capable of winning.
Yeah.
But you figure the odds are, and then maybe another couple on the road somewhere down the line. I think there's a good chance that Tech goes undefeated at home this year. I really do.
It's hard to argue with anything you said. I mean, you look at the results, what they put up, and at this point, like, I think when you asked us this like a month ago, I wouldn't want to like overstate it. Now it's like I don't want to understate it, you know, but given the results, that's an answer in itself. So I'll say, yeah, 13 or 14, just because it's so difficult. I mean, you look at, somebody brought up on the board the other day the fact that they play West Virginia and Kansas within like 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, at Kansas or at West Virginia and then home at Kansas, or the other way around. I can't remember as far as who's first or second, but I mean, that's pretty tough. I mean, come on. The Big 12 is just really difficult, and like a team like TCU or Texas or Iowa State on the road,
Or Kansas State on the road.
Or Kansas State on the road. While they may not be like a highly ranked team, this is a really, really tough test. So, but I do think they win 13 or 14 in conference. All right, Joe82 wants to know, how concerned are we about the front court depth and size after losing Zach Smith, what it looks like for the year?
Yeah, I mean, assuming that Tommy and Norris stay healthy,
Yeah.
I'm okay. I mean, you got 10 fouls to burn there. Norris gets in some foul trouble, but Tommy does a pretty good job of staying out of foul trouble. I think that 2 legitimate bigs is enough. I think that can get you by. And I think, you know, they're trying not to play Malik.
Yeah.
I think they want to redshirt him, assuming that still is a possibility. But, I mean, if you came right down to it and you were a situation where the entire season was hanging in the balance, where it's a lose and you're done situation, you know, you could throw him in there. So I'm not too worried about it, really.
No, I'm not worried about it just because of the way they're built. Like you said, they're built to play 3 or 4, you know, a couple guards, a couple wings, and then a big man. And it's worked. They're holding their own on defense. Obviously, they're like the best in the Big 12, and they're one of the better rebounders in the Big 12 since Big 12 play has started. Now they're going to get a big test, and like I said, this would have already happened before this airs, but after we film this, is against Texas, who's about as big as anybody in the country. So they're going to get a big test on the boards and on defense in the perimeter there, or in the paint there. So we'll see how that goes. But I think they have enough athleticism with guys like Justin Gray, guys like Zaire Smith, even Jarrett Culver, who amazingly can play like point or 4 for you, or anything everything in between, that they have enough versatility to hold their own down low. All right, Tech Freak wants to know if there's any update on when and where the spring games will be held for football, and if there's going to be another one at the Star in Frisco. Yeah, I was able to confirm with Texas Tech. I don't have the dates yet. That's supposed to be released within the next week or so. They're just now bringing back everybody for the spring semester. They had their meeting on Wednesday night, as far as, you know, meeting with the players and telling them what they expect and what the program is going to be, and kind of understanding who exactly is going to be here. As far as where the actual spring game is going to be, it's going to be at the Jones this year, not in Frisco. But they're still going to have a scrimmage in Frisco. They're going to have an event at Frisco at the Star. So it's just a little bit of a change, and I like it. I'm glad that they're going to have the spring game back at the Jones, but I'm glad they did what they did last year too. So I don't mind being critical, but I like what they're doing here with kind of mixing it up. All right, Tech Freak also wanted to know when basketball rankings are updated during the week. Yeah, the AP comes out on Monday, like around 11-ish, and the coaches poll comes out on Tuesday. I'm not sure. I think it's around a similar time, like 11 or 12. And there's some other ones, but those are the 2 main ones that I think most people recognize. All right, From Syntax asks, with the baseball and basketball teams doing so well, what do we think the chances are of at least one of them making it either to the Final Four or back to Omaha, Joe?
Very good. I think baseball, I put it at over 50% of them making the World Series. And I think the basketball program, it's right now I'm saying about 20% shot of making the Final Four. So pretty darn good. I don't know if there's probably another program out there that could say something like that, yeah, but not many. So excellent shape.
Would your head explode if they made the Final Four?
Oh, it would not be pretty. It would not. I mean, you would have to get a shovel and a squeegee, and it would be ugly. But yeah, I would just absolutely fly to pieces.
If they make the Final Four, we'll go. Okay, how about that?
Yeah, man, that's a deal. That's a deal.
Another question from Tech Freak. He wants to know who do we want to win the Super Bowl out of the 4 remaining teams? Honestly, just anybody but Philly.
So it's Philly, Minnesota, New England, and the Jacksonville, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota just because for some reason I've always kind of liked the Vikings. I don't know why, but yeah, let's Minnesota.
As long as it's not the Eagles, like I said, I don't care. Even the Patriots, that's fine with me as long as it's not the Eagles. All right, now we're to our food question of the week. Joey82 wants to know, what is the one food? This is a great food question, actually. We've had a lot of food questions, but this is one of my favorites. What is the one food that reminds you most of your home or hometown?
Well, I would say probably just the humble Texas burger. I mean, you know, and a Texas burger is different from a burger anyplace else. You know, when you're talking about one of these corner burger stands in the state of Texas, you know, got that big, wide, thin patty, got that diced up onion, lots of mustard, pickles, lettuce, and if you like tomatoes, which I don't, but that on there as well, big old sesame seed bun. It's just somehow it's a little bit different the way they make them than any place else. And it's just, you know, if I'm away from Lubbock for a long time and I come back, maybe the first thing I'll do is just hit, you know, one of these burger stands. And of course, Whataburger is a classic example of that. Great Texas burger, so that's my answer.
You know, for me, even like Dallas compared to like other places I've lived in a lot of places in Texas, the burger situation in the Metroplex is outstanding. I mean, there is like, if you go to like Texas Monthly or whatever, be like 5 of the top 10 in the state will be from the Plex. It's great. But that being said, when I look at it as like national and definitely as a global kind of perspective, Tex-Mex, which I may be a little Captain Obvious there, but go outside your state for a while, don't be in Texas for a while, and see how much you're going to miss Tex-Mex. I mean, it's amazing. Even if you go to like New Mexico, it's completely different. It's going to be more green chili based, queso, not queso. Yeah, right. I mean, I miss even here, honestly, in Lubbock, the food I miss the most from the Metroplex is the outstanding, and there's a good selection here in Lubbock, but it's just different in the Metroplex, the outstanding selection you have of Tex-Mex there. So that would be my answer for me.
Cheese enchiladas, or I mean specifically here, is that
fajitas, enchiladas, the tacos, the chips, even the chips and salsa and queso, which I mean, I know it sounds like a minor thing, but getting the chips and salsa right is a big deal. It is. So, wow, you agree with me on that. I'm surprised. Okay.
I mean, look, if you can't do chips, salsa, and some queso right, you don't stand a chance as a Tex-Mex joint in the state of Texas.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Get your chips and salsa right, or else.
Or else. Yeah.
All right, but hey, great stuff. Once again, I want to thank Texas Tech for allowing us to shoot here in the Sports Performance Center. Joe, great stuff from you as always. Outstanding questions from y'all, and until next time.